Dr. Matt Loop.
One of the few consistencies in life is that it's not fair. It never will be. The real question is, what are you going to do with the challenge or problem you face right now? Are you going to play the victim, or will you commit to being unstoppable? With that said, this reminds me of a young man that I encountered named Carl. Talk about just a story of overcoming adversity. And I met Carl a few years ago in the Kroger parking lot, of all places. I was cruising in with the windows down, and all of a sudden, I hear this, "Dude, nice car!" So I go ahead and park, look over to the left and smile, open the door, and again I hear, "Hey man, nice car, what do you do for a living?" Now just to give you some context, around that time I had a red Ferrari F430 with yellow brake calipers. It was an attention grabber. One of the coolest features about the car was you could actually see the engine through the rear view windshield. So Carl and I began to speak, and he was a very intelligent young man. He asked to see a copy of my book, and I showed him, and I told him that I was a social media profit strategist, an investor, and an author. We had a great conversation that day, and we parted ways, went into the store to grab some groceries for the wife and kids. So fast forward a few months later, out of the blue, on Facebook of all places, go figure, I get this message, and it's from Carl. He said, and I quote, "I've been on my own since I was 16 years old. Throughout high school, I was homeless trying to support my family. My father was murdered. Shortly after, my mother began using drugs after his death. I wasn't ready for that. I had to take a step back and think, I don't have anything to complain about. My problems pale in comparison to this young man's." Then he goes on to say, "I graduated high school on my own, attended several prestigious institutions, but my journey wasn't finished. Money became an issue, so I had to stop." And then he jumped from job to job, place to place, where he finally landed at Georgia Southern University, where he studied business management and pre-law. He goes on to share with me, a few months later, I was apprehended at Bullock County Jail, where I spent 18 months there. Finally, we got the court date, and the charges were all dismissed, and they let him go. After all of this, he goes on to say, "I would like to take this opportunity just to say thank you. You are a big reason why I started my company. And if I had to describe you in one word, it would be inspiring, because you help to inspire young entrepreneurs to chase after their dreams." I had this big grin on my face after I read what he said, and I thought to myself, wow, you just never know how far-reaching. It makes me so happy and grateful that social media made me rich, has changed so many lives for the better. Stories like this inspire me to improve myself and to consistently have the pedal to the metal. There's so much opportunity these days if you're willing to do certain things in a certain way, and if you have the right guidance and mentorship and a roadmap, certainly. And that's really what I've been blessed to help doctors, entrepreneurs, and business owners with the last many years, way back since the MySpace days, to give them a roadmap to help their businesses and help them grow. So I always like to say, it's not what you do on social media that determines your success, impact, and profitability. It's how you do it. So hopefully this story today motivated you, because there's absolutely no reason why you can't turn your adversity into triumph and stack the deck in your favor no matter where you come from, so you can create a life and business that you love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.